Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the Kresty, a legendary St. Petersburg prison known from numerous films. What's its history? When and why was it built? The story of this place begins in the early 19th century. The area was known as Kresty, meaning crosses, and was located in the industrial part of St. Petersburg. There are two theories about the origin of this name. The first, wine warehouses were located on this territory, with goods delivered via the Neva River. The second, the name comes from the word vina, guilt or fault. Prisoners were held here for their crimes. In the early 20th century, a complex of buildings for temporary detention of prisoners was opened at this site. Several decades later, under the direction of architect Antoni Tomishko, two new red brick buildings were designed and constructed. This is how the Kresty solitary confinement prison in St. Petersburg came to be. The prison got its name, Kresty, crosses, because of the shape of its two main buildings. From a bird's-eye view, the solitary confinement buildings resemble crosses, with courtyards at the ends of each wing. The main administrative building is located between them. Tomishko's architectural vision aimed to convey the idea of an inseparable connection between punishment and spiritual repentance. In his view, time in prison was meant to lead a wayward person to recognize their guilt and guide their thoughts toward a righteous path. On the fifth floor of one of the buildings, a church dedicated to Saint Alexander Nevsky was erected, featuring 5 domes. Construction of the new 5-story buildings lasted from 1884 to 1890, according to some sources until 1892. Prisoners from the old facility participated in the construction. The internal design of the new buildings was significantly superior to the old ones. The cross-shaped buildings were equipped with electricity, independent water supply, ventilation, and hot water heating. The facility included a hospital, infectious disease barracks, a morgue, a kitchen, a smithy, a bakery, a boiler room, and an ice house. Thanks to its developed infrastructure, the prison was recognized as not only the largest in area, but also the most modern in Europe. During the revolutionary period, in 1918, at the height of the campaign against religion, the church was closed by order of the authorities. The domes were dismantled, and the church building was converted into a club. The prison itself received the status of a district prison of Petrograd province. The wartime and post-war periods were difficult times for Kresty. The prison was saved from complete destruction by a shoe factory opened on its grounds in 1959, where prisoners worked. Kresty held not only criminal offenders. During the Tsarist era and the Soviet period, political prisoners served time here. Among the famous inmates were members of the Narodnaya Volya movement in the 19th century. Before the revolution, Lev Bronstein served time here, and after a brief stay in Kresty, he became known by the pseudonym Leon Trotsky. According to one version, the pseudonym was taken in honor of the prison warden, with whom the future revolutionary managed to establish contact. Alexander Kerensky spent 4 months in Kresty. According to him, the solitude helped him understand the events taking place in Russia. He later went on to head the provisional government. Aircraft designer Andrei Tupolev was held in Kresty. The great inventor carried out his first serious work in aviation engineering right here. The famous theater and film actor Georgy Zhizhonov was also held in Kresty. Throughout his life, he was arrested multiple times and spent more than 10 years in prisons and camps. His prison story began specifically in Kresty. Throughout Kresty's history, several escapes occurred. The first escape took place in 1922, when 4 members of Lenka Panteliev's gang successfully escaped with the help of a bribed guard. In 1946, a prisoner named Volkov escaped through a hole in the wall. He had prepared this path to freedom for several months, removing bricks from the walls. After the escape, Volkov went to a bathhouse where he encountered one of the prison staff and was apprehended. In August 1969, during a walk, one prisoner climbed the bars to the roof, made his way through barbed wire, and escaped from the Arsenal embankment side. In 1984, 2 prisoners escaped using fake staff identification. The documents were made from improvised materials, photographs taken from magazines, stamps made from personal files, and red threads on the IDs from unraveled socks. After the walk, the escapees quietly entered the staff area and, presenting their documents, walked out to freedom. In 1988, an unusual escape occurred. Instead of one prisoner who was supposed to be released, another was let out. They had prepared in advance. Both grew beards, as their builds were similar. The released man made it to the train station, but was soon arrested again. One notorious criminal, nicknamed Chedvonets, was held in Kresty, awaiting sentencing. He managed to establish a close relationship with an investigator who smuggled a pistol to him. During an escape attempt, he wounded a guard. The escape failed, and he was sentenced to death, which was later commuted to life imprisonment. Since 1964, Kresty held the status of Pre-Trial Detention Center No. 1. By the end of the 20th century, the complex could simultaneously hold up to 12,000 prisoners, with a designed capacity of about 2,000 people. Overcrowding became a serious problem. In 2001, the church in the prison was restored. The domes, iconostasis, and altar were returned, and services resumed. In 1993, a museum was opened in Kresty. Initially, it could only be visited by cadets of Ministry of Internal Affairs universities and future employees of the penitentiary system. Since 1999, museum visits have been open to everyone as part of organized tour groups. In December 2017, the historic Kresty complex closed. All prisoners were transferred to a new detention center called Kresty 2 in Kolpino. This modern facility was built according to international standards for detainee housing. In February 2025, an auction was held to sell the historic Kresty complex. The winner was KVS Group of Companies, a major St. Petersburg developer. The complex was sold for 1.136 billion rubles, approximately $12.5 million US. The new owner plans to transform Kresty into a multifunctional public center. The site will house a museum preserving the memory and history of the place, a hotel complex, restaurants, galleries, and public spaces. The company has committed to carefully restoring the historic buildings and complying with requirements for preserving this cultural heritage site. The history of Kresty reminds us how important it is to value freedom and remember the lessons of the past. This place is a witness to difficult chapters in our history, and now it's beginning a new life. If you found this topic interesting, share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button.